too. You can go down. Okay.
Hey guys, so we're live, and I'll wait for you guys to see me. Hopefully it's live. I just want to just double check, see if we get anyone on here. Let's see. I'm going to click here and say top chat, live chat. Okay. All right, we got some people on. All right, good. So I'm going to here to answer any questions you guys might have, but I have my videographer right here. So this is Jarrett. Jarrett is awesome. As a videographer, he does all my editing. And I wanted to bring Jarrett on here because he is a typical guy, like I was. I wasn't always a good eater. So he's a typical guy. He's doing my videos. After a while, after thousands of videos, okay, it kind of sunk in. He says, maybe I need to change my diet, right? But before, you just, what did you eat before?
All kinds of junk. McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Popeyes, Chipotle.
What about, you like the, what do you call that, with the MSG, extra MSG? It's called, with the chicken.
General Tso's chicken?
That, and also, what's that chicken? I don't know. It's a place that you really liked. But he would come in. I can see that he needed electrolytes. So you started to change your diet after a couple years of watching my videos, right?
Yeah.
So eventually you went home. You started changing it. Did you start to feel better right away?
It took just a little bit of time, I guess, because I was still going in and out. Like I would try it for like a couple days, and then I would just, I can't do it right now. I'll go right back to the McDonald's or whatever. But then I would like go for it for a week or two, and then I would feel clearer, and I would feel more awake, and I would feel like I was processing more of what was around me, stuff like that.
And you also combine intermittent fasting too, right?
Yeah. I would, yeah.
Yeah, and so, I mean, for the most part, you're doing pretty good. I mean, it's not 100%, right?
Not all the way there yet. I got some work, but...
So you also remember you brought me that peanut butter that you were wondering what was in that because it's so good?
Yeah.
It wasn't peanut butter, was it?
It was not peanut butter at all.
No, I was like, okay, you got to read the directions. But I think, you know, being a typical guy, do you find that once you tried this and you saw the results, it's like, okay, maybe this is legitimate. Maybe I need to keep doing this. Like, what would motivate an average person, a humanoid, an average guy, to keep going?
Just the results. Like, even when I was editing the videos, it's like it's hard to not want to do it when you see the results like all the time. Like you're editing this video, and every time I would be editing it, I would be telling people about this stuff, and they're just like, wow, like you, like they almost like thought I knew it all. I was like, no, I just from editing all the videos, I kind of just picked up the information while I was going along. But yeah, it's hard when like you see on the live show all the people talking about the results and just all the before and afters. Like, how can you not want to do it? You know.
I think too, and one of the things that we run into is that unless you have a physical problem that you're trying to solve, there's no motivation there to get started with it. Did you have a physical problem, really, or not?
I didn't have too much. Mine was just staying awake because I usually just had a problem going to bed on time. I would go to bed very late, and then during the day I would just start getting really at like 1 or something to like 3. I would just be like,
yeah. I noticed
so
that.
tired.
I noticed that as you're doing the video, you're like falling asleep. So here's the thing, guys. You don't have, for those of you that are average guys or girls, you do not have to wait until you get diabetes, okay, to do this. You don't wait till you get cancer. You do it before. I'm telling you, it's much easier to do that. You don't really need a reason to get started, but you're going to feel a lot better. It's for your own good. Okay, so let's answer some questions here. Let's see, Dr. Berg, I do keto OMAD. I get mucus buildup in my throat. What is causing it? Well, probably it's the dairy, most likely. If you want to get rid of mucus, you want to start eating radishes, Spanish black radishes. Okay, we got 938 people watching you right now. Guys, I had a fear of public speaking at one time. In fact, I was this close to dropping out of college because I had to give a speech. Do you know how I handled that? Did I ever tell you the story?
No, I don't think so.
I actually drank some alcohol before I went on there. And guess what, guys? That was a big mistake. That was crazy because I I was like, went from bad to worse. So, so then I decided, okay, I need to do something. So I just kept doing more seminars and a lot more. Okay, so working towards OMAD, taking exogenous ketones really helps me around 1 to 2 p.m. get through until dinner with my family. I haven't seen you speak on those. What's your opinion on exogenous ketones? Well, I think they're good if you have Alzheimer's. I think they're good if you're a professional athlete, but I don't think they're good for the average person. Why am I saying that? Because you don't need them. What happens, you want to run on your own ketones. When you actually depend on external ketones, even though you have ketones going through your urine, that's going to prevent you from tapping into your own fat. Because if there's ketones available that you're taking at $140 a month, why would your body need to break down fat and use its own ketones? So from a fuel standpoint, it's much easier just to run off your own fuel, and also you're actually burning fat. And it also defeats the whole purpose of doing keto in the first place, which is getting healthy. When you take ketones, you're taking some external thing, and that's trying to make you healthy, but it's not really true health. That's my viewpoint. Sorry. Okay. Sugar is food for cancer. Yes, you're right. Cancer lives on sugar and glutamine. Okay, at the summit that I hope you're coming to, are you going to be there? Okay, he's going to video it. At this summit, we're going to talk about cancer in depth. We're going to talk about, oh my gosh, brain physiology in real simple terms. We're going to do a whole thing on debugging weight. We're going to do a whole exercise thing. It's going to be really amazing. So I hope you guys can come. And it's in Virginia at the peak time. But here's the thing about cancer. Cancer is triggered by carcinogens. Carcinogens are things in the environment that alter our genes and our cellular parts or processes. And so what happens when the cell becomes damaged, so look at, you have a normal cell that gets damaged, becomes a cancer cell. What's different about a cancer cell is cancer cells, they don't die. They don't have the pre-programmed death like normal cells have. So our normal cells die, cancer cells don't. It lives on, it takes over the body, and it takes over the organs. It's kind of weird, isn't it, that our body cells are programmed to die, but not cancer cells. So, so what you need to do for cancer is basically you need to avoid sugar. I mean, major, and then do intermittent fasting. Both of those are going to be very beneficial. And then at the summit, we're going to get into what else you need to do. All right, so I've had H. pylori. I take antibiotics after my meds. How long should I wait until I eat? Should I avoid dairy altogether? Well, it depends on what antibiotics you're taking. I can't tell you because I don't know what antibiotics you're taking. Certain antibiotics, you would avoid dairy. But here's the thing about antibiotics. They wipe out your good bacteria and your bad bacteria, and they really severely prevent your absorption of B vitamins. So when you have antibiotics, you may find that B vitamins don't work that well anymore for you. And so you have all sorts of issues with fatigue, and you have issues with hair loss, and keto flu for sure. So you have to take more of the B vitamins through nutritional yeast, and that's what I would recommend. Okay, Dr. Berg, love your show. Thank you. Just a quick question. Does sea salt contain polypropylene impurities due to pollution? Saw this on another YouTube channel. It really depends on where you get your sea salt from. I like Himalayan sea salt because it's from a mountain which it's unpolluted, completely unpolluted, and it's like nothing could actually put polypropylene in there at all. So that's what I would do if I were you. And just by the way, guys, if you're okay, we have 1,000 people watching now. Just so you know, when you do keto and intermittent fasting, it's very important to increase your salt. Very important with salt, sea salt. You might need a little bit more than a teaspoon a day, because if not, you're going to find you're going to be weak. Your muscles are going to be weak. You're also going to not hold as much fluid, because with the carb stuff, when you get rid of the carbs, you dump all this fluid. So you need a little bit more fluid, and you need to hold the fluid in your body with sea salt. Or else you might notice that like even your tissues look a little dehydrated. Well, that's because you need more minerals, specifically sodium, to hold some of this fluid in there. So don't be afraid of consuming more salt on a ketogenic diet, okay? Dr. Berg, is there any product, natural remedy that you'd recommend to heal post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation? Okay, the way I'm going to answer that, I'm going to say what you might want to research, you and your doctor, is wheatgrass juice powder, because there's some great evidence to show that that's great for external skin and internal skin, okay? So I was just going to talk about something, and then I just what was I talking about before that?
You said something about wheatgrass juice powder?
Before that.
Himalayan sea salt?
Yes. Memory loss. Yeah, so salt is very important. I was going to mention this. Jared, did you know that a healthy, normal person only has 1 teaspoon of sugar in their blood? All the blood. Did you know that? 1 teaspoon of sugar, right? That's 5 grams.
Okay.
Did you know, you probably already knew that because you saw my videos, but did you also know that diabetes is like 1.5 teaspoons?
No, didn't know that.
Yeah, if you have 1.5 teaspoons of sugar, up to like 2 teaspoons of sugar,
yeah,
you get diabetes.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Now, what's happening is your body's working like crazy to get that 1/2 teaspoon out of the blood with all this insulin. But this is why 65% of the population is a pre-diabetic or diabetic in the United States.
Wow.
It's not even an epidemic, it's a pandemic, which is worldwide. And it's so simple. I mean, like the top doctors, the endocrinologists, cannot see the obvious, which is basically diabetes is too much sugar, cut out the sugar. They don't get that simplicity. I think they have some major confusions, with the basic terminology of what insulin is. All right. Dr. Berg, exclusive breastfeeding, keto, 16-8, 10 weeks. Now, any suggestion, no weight loss, absolutely no cheating, no carbs, processed foods, any thoughts, 2 meals a day? Well, here's the thing, you're breastfeeding, right? Your body is actually adapted for feeding this baby. And what's gonna happen, it's probably gonna slow your metabolism down a little bit because it doesn't probably wanna focus on weight loss. It's focusing on making that milk. So what I would do is I would finish up your breastfeeding, and then go into maybe 1 meal a day after that. But one good thing for breastfeeding, so if you would like to know this, I don't know if you want to know this, would be nutritional yeast or brewer's yeast. You can make them in cookies, no sugar, and you'll fortify your milk. Okay, so someone says, Dr. Berg, do you do IF? No, I don't do intermittent fasting. Have you been watching my videos? Of course I do intermittent fasting. Yeah, I do 2 meals a day. Sometimes I'll do 1 meal a day. Okay, so I love keto lifestyle, but need advice to boost metabolism after 60 years young. History of diets and IF for years. Well, if you have a damaged metabolism, the single most important thing you need to do is lower your insulin. That's the most important thing. Healthy keto, intermittent fasting, do it consistently. If you want to speed it up, then add the exercise in there. And then if you want to speed it up more, add nutrition into it. If you want to speed it up more, cut down the fat, okay, a little bit more, and the carbs. And that should work. Good. So any last words of wisdom?
Follow his advice. He knows what he's talking about. He does the research. Definitely.
That's good advice. That's very good. Guys, I hope you can make it to the Keto Summit. I'll put a link down below in about a half hour, but we're doing this summit in the fall. Consider coming. I'd love to meet you. All right, guys. Have a great afternoon.